Hey everybody, good morning. I'm here and I forgot to do something. Well, that's nothing new. But anyway, it's Thursday and you know what that means. We're going to tell some people to blank right off. You know how that works. Anyway, how y'all doing today? It's Thursday. My brain's a little bit ahead of me. I am going to be visiting my son tomorrow. I'm flying out to Denver. We're going to play golf a couple times on Saturday. I'm excited about that because I enjoy a good round of golf, and especially with my boy. It's fun to go hit some sticks with him. And other than that, it's going to be a fairly chill weekend. We're not doing a whole lot of extra activities. I got a couple other friends in Denver that I'm going to visit. So we'll get to that. But there are a lot of things to get to, and I don't know if I really want to get to all of them. I want to go over the Rittenhouse trial, but I'm gonna resist the latter because we can certainly talk about that after it happens. I'm losing. Well, should I say losing brain cells? I'm not so much losing brain cells, but I'm not finding a whole lot. I don't have a lot of faith in the damn defense team right now, and hopefully. Look, let's put it this way. The facts of the case are totally in Rittenhouse's favor. But for some god-awful reason, the defense team seems to be allowing a lot of stuff that, you probably should allow it. If you really want a good analysis of it while it's happening, again, go watch it over at Rekieta, or watch part of Rekieta's stream, after the fact. If you want to watch me. If you want to watch Rekieta. But it's just frustrating to watch right now, at least the first 2 days. Hopefully it gets better and better, and hopefully he's got the defense, the one lawyer doing most of the talking. I hope he gets it together. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. But for now, I need to play the intro. So Johnny, well, he needs to play the intro. Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight.
Okay, let's stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Thursday, also known here as FTG Thursday. You know what that means. If you don't, ask somebody in the chat. It is the 4th of November, 2021, and it's a couple days after the election day, and it's interesting watching the pundits cope, as they like to say, because they're always telling us to cope, but they are needing to cope, and it's fascinating to watch. And so we'll talk a little bit about a couple things that regarding the recent elections around the country in various states. And we'll talk a little bit about the kid in Wisconsin who's in Kenosha, who's in a trial for his life right now. And we'll just do what we got to do. Anyway, before I do that, though, I do want to say good morning. Oh, tweet out the show, by the way. I just tweeted it out. Follow me on social media, by the way, on Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, and Cloud Hub, and Getter, and maybe we'll be on Truth, what do they call it? Truth Social, that they're supposed to, the former president's John that he's going to put together. Anyway, I used a Philly word. If you don't know what John is, that's just a general word. When you want to call something, you can pretty much call anything a John. It's when you don't really have a word for it. You can't remember what you're saying. Just say, oh yeah, that John. So, but let's say good morning to everybody first. Let me scroll up here because I haven't even looked to see who was first. Oh, well, Mr. Savage was first today. Who gets the bell? good morning, Mike Savage, who every morning starts with a blarg. Also, good morning to, oh, did I hit the parlor one? Hang on a second here. Did I do that? Yeah, I did send it, I think. Goodness gracious. Let me see here. Did I do today's show? Yes, I did. I called it Aftermath. All right. Not to be confused with Eminem's album Aftermath. Is it Shady Aftermath? I don't know. Whatever. Oh no, I think that's in a song or something by him and who's the guy? Dr. Dre. Anyway, good morning, Mike Savage. Thank you for being here. Also, good morning, Aaron Meredith. Jonathan Peterson's in the house. Kay Shull's here, nice and early. Good morning. Let's go, Brandon, a.k.a. Renee Mayette, who reminds us that Rittenhouse trial commences. Defense is up on cross of the detective assigned to the case, the one that left evidence in the car store's parking lot for 4 effing days, which you know stands for flipping. Yeah, that, oh gosh, and the whole testimony of this detective is surreal because I couldn't figure, so the entire, okay, we'll get into that later. I know I could talk about this and bitch and moan, but I'll tell you later. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Good morning, Somnambule Nation. Good morning to D.I. Freighter Watcher. Hello, Legit Low Talker. I see ya. Also, good morning, Wikipedia snippet. Thomas Cleaver. Kapow. And hot dog, oh, hot diggity dog. Good morning also to, let's see, Advocate's job of the Devil's Advocate. I replied to your message yesterday, AD, and yeah, you're 100% correct. Also, good morning to, let's see, Sarah's in the house. Nice to see ya. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca, John Arnott, Jim Beams in the house. Nice to see ya. And I think, is that it? That's kind of it right now. We got 17 people in the house. People walking in slowly. Hey, send a message to a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, or to your social media and say, hey, come on over. You can even give them a Thomas Cleaver and yell, kapow! Oh, the Shagworth's in the house. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. All right. So let's just get this started with more election stuff. Now, today it's mostly articles. I know sometimes I overload on the articles, and some of these are just ones that I'm putting in the tab below at the end of the show for you to check out, because I'm not going to read them, but I do want to bring them to your attention if you happen to use that link. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, at the end of every show, if I put up a video or go through an article or something, I put it in the description down below. I edit the description, and the second paragraph of the subscription, there's a link that says one tab something, blah, 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 lots of letters and numbers behind it. And I update that, and everything we go through will be in that link. Well, today I have a few articles that I'm not going to read, but I do want to bring them to your attention. They're kind of editorial stuff. And so I'd like you to, if you'd like to, or if you ever check out that link, those will be in the link in the description down below, as I do every day. So people are watching this trial closely are getting to see the absolute top-notch, flawless work done by law enforcement. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, it's funny because the detective, okay, I'll talk about this detective. So first of all, the prosecution brings this detective to the stand, and the detective is there because their work was, okay, they didn't go check out the scene right away, and then but they did. So Kyle, the kid, I don't know if you're allowed to say his name, and if you say his name, you get flagged and go. They give you a yellow $sign. So I'm just gonna try to avoid his name. The kid, I'll just call him the kid. The kid left the scene because the police were just told him to get out of the way. So he went back to his town 8 miles away, and he turned himself in that night after the incidents. And so this detective who went over to the other town across state lines, went and interviewed him, right? And then also but he says that they didn't really check out the scene for like 3 or 4 days, 4 days if you ask Renee there. And what's fascinating, they had someone else that told him, oh yeah, we found some shell casings on our car here. And then he said here's what his detective work was. He scoured the internet for other people's videos because there were no police officers who witnessed any of this. And so he's basically, and then, what bothers me though is that, first of all, you know, the chain of custody of the videos and how they were presented. The judge didn't like how some of the editorializing, because these were just, you know, people on YouTube or Twitter or whatever who were doing live streams that were talking while they were doing this, right? Why are they flagging people for mentioning these? Well, they're not necessarily flagging them, but if you're talking about this case and you're monetized, they limit your monetization because it's known as a sensitive topic, a sensitive topic of a volatile nature. Anyway, and they don't like anyone who supports the kid for some reason, well, because it doesn't meet their narrative. But anyway, so this detective, basically his investigation consisted of pulling crap off the internet. And but what was weird is the prosecution, who's supposed to only ask questions, basically was leading this guy to, I mean, his testimony basically was yes, that's correct, because the prosecution was describing all these videos as he was watching them and didn't really and I can't believe that the defense didn't object. There's things that, as you're looking at these videos, that nobody would have known by just looking at the videos, even a detective. But at least make the detective tell you how he figured out who's who and what's what in the videos. And he didn't. He just kept saying, "Oh, this is this and this, this, and is that correct?" And the detective would say yes, and this, and the detective would say yes, and this is that, and this is that, and this is this, and how is he doing this, and blah blah. And the damn defense didn't object one time, and that's not how it's supposed to work. And then when the defense finally, well, the defense is questioning him now. I'm going to go back and watch it later, but at least last night, at the end of the day, the prosecution was asking open-ended questions, and your prosecution's allowed, or excuse me, the defense was asking open-ended questions. The defense is allowed to ask what's known as somewhat leading questions. It was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and I watch, because I like to watch trials like this, and I usually see what's happening. And plus, I was watching it on Rakita Station, and all these different lawyers are in and out on the stream, and they're talking about this, and their heads are exploding. They're like, "What the hell? Why aren't you objecting? Why?" But I think I figured it out. See, all this video that this detective, brought in, and they were going through these videos and stuff. It's the same evidence that the defense is going to use, because if you actually pay attention to what's happening in these videos, it's obvious. The things that the defense are saying, the prosecution are saying, are bullshit. That the kid didn't chase down this guy and confront him. It was nothing like that. And you could see in the video. You would have to disregard what you are seeing in the videos to believe the narrative of the prosecution. And so I am just dumbfounded by this case. But, if the defense doesn't start objecting to some of this stuff, then the jury's just going to think, oh, well, what the prosecution's saying right, or is prosecution saying right? And the juries don't have a great attention span in any way. And so the way the prosecution's laying it out, it's like there's terminology he uses that makes it seems like that is very, if it sticks in a juror's mind, it'd be very prejudicial. And it's just weird how the defense isn't fighting that. But I don't know. The facts are clearly on the kid's side. So I don't know. Anyway, imagine vetting information sources. Crazy talk. I know. It's crazy. It is crazy. So Wait, what? I went to light a smoke for 10 seconds, and apparently someone walked on camera naked. It was shattered, I think. I don't know what camera. Not my camera. You do not want to see that. I'm just telling you. Anyway, all right, let's get into some news, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the kid today. And I do have some bookmarks that I found quite funny, but we'll get to those if we can. So let's start first of all. This is some news from yesterday. Well, this is a couple days ago. So I just tell you the story how about the DC. Maybe I didn't tell you this story. Anyway, let's go. This is on PJ Media. So the DC jail has transferred out 400 prisoners for disgusting, inhumane conditions, but none of the January 6 detainees. One of the political prisoners being held in jail for participating in the Capitol riot, Nathan DeGraves, sent a letter that was released on Twitter alleging horrific conditions in the D.C. jail for January 6 prisoners. DeGraves' letter alleged extreme medical neglect, mental and physical abuse, unlivable conditions, dirty water, and starvation. His allegations resulted in a surprise inspection to back up his claims. Okay, so the letter, this is in this tweet. You can find it on Twitter yourself. According to the Washington Post, the unannounced inspection from October 18th to October 23rd began 5 days after a federal judge in Washington found the jail warden, Wanda Patton, and D.C. Corrections Director Quincy Booth in contempt of court in a case involving the alleged mistreatment of a detainee charged in the Capitol riot. Judge Royce C. Lambert found that jail officials abused the civil rights of the defendant, Christopher Worrell, due to neglecting his wrist injury that required surgery. Lambert then called for an investigation into the treatment of the J6 prisoners. The surprise inspection by Lamont J. Ruffin, the acting marshal for U.S. District Court in Washington, has resulted in the transfer of 400 prisoners to a different facility, but none of them will be the January 6 detainees. According to the Washington Post, the inspection found evidence of systemic mistreatment of detainees, including unsanitary living conditions and the punitive denial of food and water, just like DeGraves' letter claimed. Not only that, but the officials found large amounts of standing human sewage in the toilets of multiple occupied cells, and staff members were observed antagonizing detainees and directing detainees not to cooperate with the inspectors. Ruffin's letter sent multiple law enforcement agencies and judges and said there was evidence of drug use and that the facility had strong smoke and odor of marijuana. Ruffin went on to report that the smell of urine and feces was overpowering in many locations, while food delivery and storage were not sufficient. Hot meals were observed, served cold and congealed, he wrote. The letter also corroborated another allegation in DeGraves' letter, stating that the detainees had observable injuries with no corresponding medical or incident reports, and that water and food appeared to be withheld from detainees for punitive reasons. But why won't the J6 detainees, the ones who alerted the authorities to the terrible conditions, be moved? Quote, the move will not involve about 120 federal detainees, including about 40 defendants who face federal charges in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, who are being held in the Corrections Department Correctional Treatment Facility. The Marshals Service said the facility is located with the jail in Southeast Washington. Ruffin who ordered the inspection, said that the conditions of the CTF were observed to be largely appropriate and consistent with federal prisoner detention standards, and that the problems were primarily in the main jail. Interesting, because they're not in the main jail. They're in a different facility or different section of the same facility. They were going to move them. Interesting, because if the guy who complained was one of them, wouldn't that... Never mind. I'm just going to read. This makes no sense. The judge found that J6 detainee Worrell was abused by the jailers. Not only that, but DeGraves' letter details exactly the conditions that were found. How can Ruffin claim that J6 prisoners are not being abused when one of them described what Ruffin found almost exactly, and the other has been found in a court of law to have been severely wronged by the jail, which led to the inspection? Because they're all dirty shitbags. Okay, it's beyond the 10 minutes, I can swear now. Good morning, King. How you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. All right, moving on. We'll get through this kind of quick because I really do want to get into Glasgow, or not Glasgow, to the Rittenhouse, the kids case, excuse me. This one is one that I just laughed, and I'm not going to go through it, but the Glasgow Festival of Globalist Virtue Signaling, they're in Glasgow talking about climate change. Oh, by the way, who was it? Somebody at Glasgow. Maybe it's in my bookmarks. Hang on a second. So let's see. Is it in my bookmarks? Let me check. Na. Oh no, maybe I didn't. Oh, here we go. This is rich. So, if you're familiar with L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti, so he went to Scotland for this climate conference or whatever the hell they're doing over there, right? Well, fully vaccinated Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti has tested positive for COVID while in Scotland. The mayor of Los Angeles has tested positive for the stupid and must be quarantined in his hotel room in Glasgow. Eric Garcetti was attending the United Nations Climate Change Conference when it was revealed on Wednesday he tested positive for the stupid 19. He is fully jabbed, stabbed, and Fauci juiced against the virus, according to his team. You know what? You're going to hear so many stories like this. It's going to be so common because the majority of the company's been stabbed, jabbed, and given their Fauci juice. And guess what? It doesn't stop you from transmitting or getting stupid 19. So let's just give an FTG to Eric Garcetti. And although I do hope that he recovers just like the other 100 million of us who've had the disease. So anyway, the whole thing in Scotland is a super spreader event for world leaders. All right, let's move on. If you want to talk, but anyway, this thing about Glasgow, if you want to read about how this giant virtue signaling thing is going, there's an article from Front Page Magazine. It'll be in the tabs down below. All right, moving on. Red Wave has the Democrats in a tizzy. Hello, good morning, Amy. How you doing? Has the Democrats in a tizzy, and there is infighting over Biden's agenda, who he says they need to pass anyway. There's infighting over the agenda, and the words "effing disaster" has been uttered by somebody. The Republican red wave for Tuesday victories across the nation has inflamed Democratic infighting over President Joe Biden's radical legislative agenda. The victory that resulted from high turnout among rural voters and Hispanics, we'll get to that in a minute, along with parents frustrated over CRT and those who oppose defunding the police, directly contradicts the far left policies and narrative of identity politics. Voters' rejection of the far-left policies is Democrats pointing fingers at each other over who is at fault over the loss. The moderates claim radical policies are responsible for the drubbing, while the far-left claims the thrashing was Biden's fault for not passing his radical reconciliation agenda through Congress quickly. Yes, that's what it is. We all are just clamoring for $3.5 trillion with the T dollars in spending over shit that you're wondering, why? Why? You know what I mean? Anyway, Monday morning, an unnamed Democratic congressman from New Jersey told Politico. Now, there's not a whole lot of choices, are there, from New Jersey? How many Congress people do they have? I don't know. He told Politico Playbook Biden failed to pass any accomplishments, which hurts the base enthusiasm. I'd be more unenthused if he did pass anything. Anyway, effing disaster down the ballot and way too close to the top. Not enough excitement. Top of the New Jersey ticket. Biden COVID, etc. No accomplishment should have passed infrastructure a month ago, he said. Well, had they just chosen to refund actual infrastructure and not all this other BS, maybe they would have been okay. In contrast, far-left House aide told Playbook the defeat on Tuesday should not be blamed on progressives. It's absurd to blame progressives for Virginia. Well, maybe, except for the progressive in London County School Board. Anyway, it's absurd to blame this for Virginia, the person said, citing that the races lost because the election was not about federal issues. Oh, no, it was just about Donald Trump in Virginia. Remember that? Terry McAuliffe. Did I ever play that Trump thing where he just, all the times that Terry McAuliffe said Trump? Anyway, if you guys want to hear more, they're not doing well in the the Democratic side of the aisle. And I'm here for it. Oh, here's Pelosi's reaction last night. Here's one, and I might as well just get this ready right now, because it's just prerequisite of this show. Let's see Nancy Pelosi's reaction. Here we go. Let's go full screen.
She was a great governor of the state.
Does he change the agenda for the House? No.
No.
Are the negotiations wrapped up? What about immigration? Is that settled?
I'm gonna watch it again because I can't really tell what she's mumbling here. But she doesn't look happy, does she? Wouldn't she normally be smiling from ear to ear, telling us how wonderful everything is? No, she looks a little grumpy, if you ask me.
The House? No.
How about you? She look a little grumpy to you?
What about immigration? Is that settled?
She's looking kind of grumpy to me, I gotta tell you. All right. Anyway, all right, enough of that. Let's see what else do I have here. Oh, Biden, and then the president is blaming everything. It's on everybody else. I gotta now look. Oh, by the way, did you hear that what's his face? Murphy won in New Jersey. Apparently there's a little mix up of ballots, and all of a sudden there was 50,000. Was it 50,000? Something like that. Well, first of all, he won the mail-in voting. Look, so everything was close, right? The in-person voting was, pretty close. And the early voting was close, but the mail-in ballots went 71% to Murphy, which is, of course, they counted them last. And also, apparently, one counting they accidentally turned off a voting machine, and so all of a sudden there was a 40,000 vote swing in that county. I'm sure it was just a mistake. This is New Jersey. Everything is perfectly pristine and fair and clean in New Jersey. I am never, ever going to even imply that there might have been something wrong in New Jersey. Anyway, President Biden on Wednesday looked to blame anyone but himself for key Democratic setbacks in Tuesday's election. Yes, because when you went out and campaigned for Terry McAuliffe, that was very successful, and it really helped him. And he went from what? Did he go from like 10 up to 2 down? I don't know. Jimmy Streams last night had me actually crying. Funniest thing, I've been around for a long time. I afraid to watch a total shit show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I didn't see a stream last night. Anyway, so citing everything from former President Donald Trump to very conservative folks who turned out at the polls to Americans upset and uncertain about stupid 19 and rising prices. Rather than disapproval of his own political agenda, Biden doubled down, calling on Congress to quickly pass his $1.75 trillion spending bill to win back support. Yes, when all else fails, throw money at him. In Virginia, Republican gubernatorial candidate Glenn Youngkin defeated Terry McAuliffe by more than 2 percentage points, despite Biden winning the state last year by 10 points. The defeat came after Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and former President Barack Obama all came to rallies in Virginia for McAuliffe. Now, Now that's, I got to tell you, all these people came out from Mcauliffe. That's some serious firepower. And you got the two most popular presidents in the history of the world coming out behind you to, come and stump for you, and you still lose. You must be a total shitbag. Anyway, and Republican Jack Ciattarelli is nearly tied with incumbent Democratic Governor Phil Murphy. Well, we know that's fucked up now. But anyway, it's Trump's fault. It always is Trump's fault. There's another factor that may have helped Terry McAuliffe win, and that is the fine super PAC gentleman over at. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Did I do this yet? FTG Nancy Pelosi and FTG Brandon. The gentlemen who are election strategists. They are extraordinaire. I mean, they are some of the most brilliant political minds in America, and they are really, 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 really good at getting Republicans elected, and that is the anti-Republican Lincoln Project. The disgraced super PAC has a proven track record of electing Republicans. I don't think that's what they're trying to do, though. They're the jackasses behind this little stunt at the Tiki Torch guys. They got a brother and a girl over here wearing the Tiki Torch things. Anyway, they didn't work out so well. Having dominated the 2021 election, Republicans are poised to make a significant gains next year in the midterms. In the interest of maximizing these gains, the Washington Free Beacon represents our first endorsement of the 2022 election cycle, the Lincoln Project, Democratic super PAC. Well, now they're not. Are they technically not a Democratic super PAC? Well, they kind of are, because all they do is try to get Democrats elected, even though these guys are in theory Republicans. So anyway, despite the considerable time and effort of its leaders were forced to spend covering up the disgraceful behavior of co-founder John Weaver. Yeah, what do you call? What's a good word when you don't want to say John Weaver's little issue with underage human beings? There's got to be he's kind of a pizza guy. Let's put it that way. Anyway, despite covering up the disgraceful behavior of co-founder John Weaver, the Lincoln Project performed admirably in the 2020 election, helping the Republican Party go 7-0 in key Senate races. The super PAC spent $12 million attacking GOP candidates in those races, propelling them to victory over their Democratic challengers. We can't argue with these results. In Alaska, they spent $4.3 million. And Dan Sullivan won by 20 points. In Kentucky, they spent $464,000, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell still won by 20 points. In Iowa, they spent $226,000 against Senator Joni Ernst, who won by 6 points. In Maine, they spent $1.7 million, and Steve Daines won by 10 percentage points. In North Carolina, $197,000 spent on Senator against Tom Tillis, and he won by 2 points. And in South Carolina, the Lincoln Project put $2.4 million against milquetoast Senator Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham still won by 10 points. So yes, the Lincoln Project is the best thing that ever happened to Republicans. They have successfully replicated this strategy in 2021, which suggests they are ideally positioned to deliver Republican gains in next year's midterms. The super PAC reportedly spent more than $280,000 attacking Glenn Youngkin, the Republican nominee of Virginia's gubernatorial race, and colluded with Democratic operatives to carry out a pathetic neo-Nazi cosplay stunt at Youngkin's campaign event. In doing so, the Lincoln Project helped the GOP candidate secure an improbable victory in a solid blue state that President Biden won by more than 10 points. We're coming for you, Glenn Youngkin, the Lincoln Project tweeted in late September LOL. Yes, the Lincoln Projects. But anyway, you know what? But I just got to say, FTG Lincoln, INCOLN Project. I wish I could type faster. There you go. FTG to the Lincoln Project. All right. And then a couple editorials that I'm not going to go through, but these are, I think it's important. There's a nice editorial in American Greatness on Virginia, that the Virginia results show that the importance of governing wisely. I just think it's a great editorial, but I don't want to go through it all today. So I would suggest you read it if you happen to go to the tabs today. And then what's the other one? It's not there. Anyway, reality is the party, the Democrats are trying to. Oh, did I say hi to Maddie? Hi, Maddie. I did not. I know I saw you there. I'm not sure that I said good morning though. I feel bad now. But here I am now saying good morning, and also good morning to Paul Farrell and King. I said hi to. I think I got everyone caught up there, right? John Arnott, you were here earlier. Tyler F., good morning, and I think I'm caught up now. All right. So anyway, reality is biting the Democrats in the buttocks, and they're attempting to deny reality. If Democrats have any intention to reflect upon and adjust for the changing currents in American life that led to their humiliation in Tuesday's election, it is evident Republican gubernatorial candidates won in Virginia and vastly outperformed in New Jersey, running on kitchen table issues like inflation, education, taxes. Wait, what? And COVID restrictions. These are matters that affect on a day-to-day basis the suburban white women who fled back into the warm embrace of the GOP. Now, yesterday, it was kind of humorous that I guess white women hashtag was trending and a lot of people were bashing white women in Virginia. But remember, those same white women in Virginia voted for Joseph Rahim Biden. And so the bitch moan about them not, white supremacy, whatever. They voted for Winston, what's her name? Winston, the lieutenant governor, who I'll talk about in a second. They voted for her for more than they did for Youngkin. So those same white women vote for a black woman. And they probably voted for Barack Obama back in 2008 and 2012, or what is it, 2008, 2012. I'm pretty sure they did. Look, you start fucking around with the kids, right? And suburban white women we're going to start saying, fuck you, I didn't vote for that shit. And that's probably what happened, because Youngkin said, you know what, I will allow you to have some say in what your child's education does for you. And Terry McAuliffe said that parents have no business being involved in their kids' education. So it was just a weird message that Terry McAuliffe embraced. And then he said Trump like 17,000 times, and Trump wasn't running. I don't get it. Donald Trump showed very little interest in Virginia whatsoever. But anyway, let's see here. It's a short article, but you can read it. Just how it's biting in the ass. They don't know what to do. The progressives. Oh, you didn't pass our Green New Deal or $3.5 trillion bill, and the moderates are like, you know what? I'm pretty sure some of the moderates are going, you know what? This woke shit is killing us. Just saying, killing us. All right, let's move on. In the exit poll, there's something that should worry Democrats too. Youngkin wins big with Hispanic voters. Republican Virginia Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin garnered more support from Hispanic voters than Democratic Terry McAuliffe, a Fox News exit poll shows. More Hispanics voted for Glenn Youngkin than Terry flippin' McAuliffe. Let that sink in. According to the poll, 54% of Hispanic voters backed Youngkin and 45% cast their ballots for McAuliffe, a 9 percentage point difference for Virginia's fastest growing ethnic group. This can't, I got to tell you, man, someone said this morning that Republicans got to make sure that they don't disregard Hispanic voters who are who either born here or come in the country legally. You can't just be worried about, the undocumented illegal stuff. You got to be sure that you're also embracing the people who are here legally and doing their thing, right? I'm just saying. All right. Because 9 percentage points win. If it was just Hispanic vote, it would have been a blowout. In pre-election analysis from the Washington Post, the dean of the Schar School of Policy and Government and Government at George Mason University, Mark J. Rozelle, noted that Latino voters are an emerging powerhouse in Virginia politics. It can make a critical, perhaps the critical difference in this election. Rozelle correctly forecasted. Yeah, because guess what? If think about it, if Terry Mcauliffe would have got that vote, he'd be governor right now again. Anyway, if there's a little more analysis to that, I'm gonna move on. But we have our first sponsor of the day. Thank you, Maddie. And you are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Maddie, who says, you mean Hispanics don't want anything to do with socialism? Say it ain't so, dog. Right? Especially our lovely people of Cuban descent, like our friend Maddie. Yeah, I can't imagine why. I can't imagine they fled wherever they were from and try to get in there at any means necessary. And then you come here and they're talking about doing the same shit they were doing back there. FTG. Did I use that appropriately? Anyway, good morning, Mank Pete. How you doing? By the way, let's just do this now because I've got a bunch of stuff here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, 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 while you're here, hit the like button if you like what we do, and share the stream anytime before, during, or after the stream. I appreciate that. And if you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know you're here. Thank you to all those who put timestamps on for when the show starts. I appreciate that. There's a couple of you do that on the regular. And then also you can sponsor the show like Maddie did at PDawgKnight.live or Streamlabs. That's where you can make donations, or through YouTube Super Chats if you want to give Susan 30% of your money, or through the other couple of venues that are in the description down below. So thank you so much for sponsoring the show, Maddie, and others who do that on the regular. And I definitely do read the messages from the donations. I'll call them donation messages rather than Super Chats because they're coming from different places. All right, let's see. Oh, and London County parents in Virginia, because that's where all the action is, right? Well, London County parents on the Youngkin Victory say it's a great day to be a Virginian. It's a great day to be a Virginian. Isn't that someone who doesn't have sex? Oh, no, that's virgin, not Virginia. Anyway, the vocal parents in London County, many of whom led the charge against CRT in public schools, are thrilled that a Republican Glenn Youngkin beat Democrat Terry Mcauliffe in Virginia's gubernatorial race. Hello, Johnny Hellcat. What's happening? London County swung for Mcauliffe despite parent pushback against the district's progressive school board and superintendent. However, 3 mama bears told the Daily Caller that divisive propagandized identity politics led to McAuliffe's statewide defeat as their public fight with London County made education a top priority among Virginia voters. And isn't that really if there's going to be a major function of state government, isn't the educational system a big part of what local state governments do? I don't want the one size fits all U.S. Department of Education controlling shit. I want the local school boards and local state people doing their jobs. Anyway, Renee Camp, a London County mother and a voter with a child in public high school, told the Daily Caller that children were the most important issue when casting her vote. She mentioned not only education issues, including the implementation of CRT pedagogy in the classrooms, but drug trafficking over the southern border and vaccine mandates. The mother specifically mentioned her fear of fentanyl and losing the freedom of choice for a child. And they have a couple other examples of moms who spoke up and talked to him and whatever. Oh, and the Lincoln Project did finally fess up their dumbass stunt. London County forces parents to sign an NDA stuff to sign NDA style to view CRT inspired curriculum. Okay, that's another article. I'm not going to open it, but yeah, the Lincoln Project did open their mouth about this though. Let's see here. It seems like the Lincoln Project were the group behind the Tiki Torch stunt in Virginia today at the Youngkin event. Yeah, we knew that. He just put the tweet that the Lincoln Project admitted their stunt. Anyway, basically they don't like race baiting politics. Let's see, someone named Camp. Where's she up? Is she in the beginning? Yeah, that was the first. Oh, Renee Camp is a black woman too. Because they say down here, Camp, a black woman herself, has called on Democrats to find a new line of attack besides calling concerned parents white supremacists. Cool. While many parents celebrate Youngkin's victory, Camp cautioned that the fight against critical race theory is a war that must be won on one battle at a time. These same parents were convinced the fight against critical race theory and control over their child's education will be a critical issue for candidates in 2022 midterm elections and the 2024 presidential race. Well, good. I hope so. You know what I mean? Good morning. Check your logic. Check your logic. You're going to have to go back and watch what do you mean aftermath of what? What are we talking about? What happened a couple days ago? Think hard. And what do you hear me talking about right now? I'm not doing an FTG to Pelosi. Why not? Are you related? No, I shouldn't have said that. That's not nice. Yeah, from the elections. Okay. Speaking of which, all these white women in Virginia voting for this black woman, new Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winston Sears. What you are looking at is the American dream. Now, we saw a clip from her speech yesterday. There are some who want to divide us, and we must not let that happen. They would like us to believe we are back in 1963 when my father came. Very good. So Winston Sears was born in Jamaica. She was raised in the Bronx, joined the Marine Corps before politics. Sears was the director of the Salvation Army Homeless Shelter. She owns an appliance and a plumbing repair store. She was also the vice president of the Virginia Board of Education. She served one term in the Virginia House of Delegates from 2002 to 2004. She is now a Republican who is, Winston Sears, a Republican, is now Virginia's lieutenant governor. She was the first woman of color to win the position in the state. She is the first woman of color to win any statewide election in Virginia. I just like to say that we are all people of color, including those who they call white.
You're fucking a white male!
Because white's a color, I guess. Isn't it? I don't know. But we saw the clip yesterday when she said, in case you haven't noticed, I'm black and I've been black all my life. She is not a fan of critical race theory either, and that's why she's part of the team for Glenn Youngkin. All right, I'm going to get through this a lot faster than I am. And this one too. And then Biden, so one of his the president of the United States, Joseph Rahim Biden, one of his takeaways from the loss is that we need to pass my economic agenda. Yeah. He really said that. President Joe Biden explained Terry McAuliffe's loss in Virginia by saying that no gubernatorial candidate in Virginia has ever won when he's at the same party as the president. And he doubled down on the need to pass the $1.75 trillion reconciliation spending bill. During a press conference on stupid 19 vaccines for kids ages 5 to 11, NBC White House correspondent Chris Welker asked, as a leader of the well, here, let's just listen to it. Well, listen to this whole thing.
As leader of the Democratic Party, how much responsibility do you take for the dismal results in Virginia and the other last night?
I'm sorry. I'm enjoying the question. Listen to this question. Listen to the question.
As leader of the Democratic Party, how much responsibility do you take for the dismal results in Virginia and the other last night?
Damn! How much responsibility do you take for the dismal results?
Well, look, yesterday reminded me of
What's yesterday?
that one of the sacred rights we have is to be able to go out and cast our votes.
Okay. That, what? Okay, there we go. Oh, no, we're good. There we go.
And one of the sacred rights we have is to be able to go out and cast our votes.
Okay.
And remember that we all have an obligation to accept the legitimacy of these elections.
Good.
I was
Except for
talking
New
to
Jersey.
Terry to congratulate him today. He got 600,000
Wait,
more
what did you
votes than
say?
To congratulate him today. He got
To
600,000 more votes than
what?
any Democrat. The legitimacy of these elections. I was talking to Terry to congratulate him today. He got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat ever has gotten. We brought out every Democrat about there was, more votes than ever had. And remember that we all have an obligation to accept the legitimacy of these elections. I was talking to Terry to congratulate him today. He got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat ever has gotten. We brought out every Democrat about.
Did he just say that Terry McAuliffe got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat has ever gotten? I wish my X to doubt thing was working. I don't know why it's not. Where in the hell is my... It's still not there. What?
Got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat ever has gotten.
Okay, can somebody check that for me? They said he got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat has ever gotten in Virginia. In that race? No. I'm talking about in the governor's race. He got 6. There were only like there only about 2.5, 3 million votes cast. Was turnout that big for this election? And he's got more. I doubt it. Anyway, here we go.
We brought out every Democrat about there was, more votes than ever has been cast for a Democratic incumbent.
Wow. Oh, now he said, now notice he qualified. No, oh, listen to this too. Okay. He just said more votes ever cast for a Democratic incumbent. First person to tell me what's wrong with that sentence gets the bell. What's wrong with that sentence? I'm going to play that again. I had to listen to this very, very carefully.
And one of the sacred rights we have is to be able to go out and cast our votes. And remember that we all have an obligation to accept the legitimacy of these elections.
Okay, fine.
I was talking to Terry to congratulate him today. He got 600,000 more votes than any Democrat ever has gotten. We brought out every Democrat about there was, more votes than ever has been cast for a Democratic incumbent.
Who knows the problem? Who can tell me? Now, somebody's probably already typing. Well, by the time I say it, you'll have already typed it in if you didn't get it. Terry McAuliffe's not the incumbent. There is no incumbent in Virginia. They have term limits. You could only, the rule is you could only serve one term, but apparently Terry McAuliffe found a way around that, saying he wasn't a consecutive term. Terry McAuliffe is not the incumbent. He's not the current governor of Virginia. That old dude with the sheet or blackface, whichever one he was in that picture, is the current governor of Virginia. Biden's talking straight out of his hind parts right now. 600,000 more votes than any other Democratic candidate has ever gotten for governor. I doubt it. And he's not the fucking incumbent. What the fuck is Joe Biden talking about? Okay, let's listen. I'm going to drink my coffee because I need caffeine today because this shit's putting me to sleep. I can't believe this shit.
I'm not incumbent, a Democrat running for governor. And no governor in Virginia has ever won when he's of the same or he or she's the same party as the sitting president.
No governor's ever won as the same party as the sitting president. Okay. That is also false because Virginia has had 12 consecutive years of Democratic governors. Guess what? The last president was Donald Trump. He was elected in 2016. So that's 4 years, okay? 4 years ago. But 8 years ago, there's a Democratic governor. And his name was Terry McAuliffe, who was elected while the president of the United States was none other than Barack Obama. This is the first time I've seen this. I'm fact checking in not real time in the video I'm watching, but unbelievable. Unbelievable. 2020 vote was the highest turnout in recent history. Last election was 47% of voters. This one was 55%. Is that 600,000 more votes? Did he get 600,000 more votes than any Democratic or any other Democratic governor of New York? So highest turnout in recent history. But he's saying he got 600,000 more votes than any other governor in history. Or any other whatever. And the idea that he's not the incumbent. Anyway, and then also Terry McAuliffe won while Barack Obama was president. And so there's three very questionable statements by the president.
Running for governor. And no governor in Virginia has ever won when he's of the same or he or she's the same party as the sitting president.
Terry McAuliffe did the last time he ran for governor. And in fact, the governor before that was a Democrat too. Holy shit. Well, hey, wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, no, because Northam won after Trump. Anyway, shush. Jesus.
What I do know is...
What you do know? You don't seem to know much else, so let's see what you do know, because you don't know what you just said. You're talking out of your ass.
You know that people want us to get things done.
Really?
They want us to get things done.
What is that? Okay, I don't even know why that has anything to do with the governorship in Virginia, but still.
And that's why
wait, the other thing is, no, Joe. There's a large number of people in the United States who don't want you to get things done because everything you do every time you do something, you fuck it up. And you know what? I know. We're FTG Joe Biden. Okay.
I'm continuing to push very hard for the Democratic Party to move along and pass my infrastructure bill and my Build Back Better bill. I think if we think about.
I thought he had kind of given up on the Build Back Better bill. I don't know
what we're talking about here. People are upset and uncertain about a lot of things. From
your governor,
COVID
your former governor,
to school to jobs to a whole range of things, and the cost of a gallon of gasoline. And so if I'm able to pass, sign into law, my Build Back Better initiative, I'm in a position where you're going to see a lot of those things ameliorated quickly and swiftly.
Never mind. I can't watch any more of this. I can't watch it more. I wonder if they noticed that he was incorrect here, though. Did anybody notice that he didn't, definitely wrong about the incumbent, or the thing about no Democrat has won when there's a Democratic president, when they're whatever. I don't know. Hello, Johnny Blaze. How you doing? That's nuts. And I think I saw did I see Asia Research Director? Good morning. Lunatics in the house. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for dropping in. That's just flat out wrong. Oh God, did he? Okay, hang on. I am gonna watch the rest of this because Alcindor asked a question.
So that has to be done.
Mr. President, given what you said, do you take some responsibility, and do you think that Terry McAuliffe would have won if your agenda had passed before Election Day?
Oh, I think we should have. I think it went down in flames even more. Let's answer.
Should have passed before Election Day, but I'm not sure that I would be able to have changed the number of very conservative folks who turned out in the red districts who were Trump voters. But maybe.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, so the very conservative voters who showed up and turned out in Trump's districts, well, aren't there corresponding Democratic voters in not Trump districts? I don't know. Rusty was good morning. Anyway.
No, I know we did, but I was running against Donald Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President. What should Democrats possibly do differently to avoid similar losses in November, especially as Republicans are now successfully running on culture war issues and false claims about critical race theory?
You know, whenever Ms. Alcindor asks a question, she should stop saying, what should Democrats do? Because all she should really say is, what should we do? Because her questions are just, how can we make sure that we win next time? And she's not a journalist.
Well, I think we should produce for the American people. Look.
Produce what?
One of the things that is important to understand, if they pass my legislation, we're going to be able to reduce the price. People are going to see a reduction in the price of the drugs they have to get because Medicare will be able to negotiate and lower the price of drugs. If they pass my legislation, you're going to see that nobody, and some of you who have children in daycare or children in child care, you're paying up to $14,000 a year if you live here. You will never have to pay that much money if you live in Washington or wherever you live.
Unless you do some really good family planning and someone stays home with those kids when you don't need daycare. I know that is sacrilege in these days where we must have women in the workforce, or we must have one parent and both parents in the workforce. I know it's hard for people. My God, I know that. Look, we lived very thin when our kids were young, because we didn't want to put them in daycare. We didn't want them in daycare. We didn't want some other. We didn't want to take a chance on having some, snot nose with the septic ring, and really, really weird ideas to teach our children anything. I mean, it's bad enough when you put them in public schools, which we did, but I don't want my kids in daycare. So we made some sacrifices in our personal life so they wouldn't have to. We tightened up. We got, we lived differently for a while so that our kids wouldn't have to be in daycare. But, that's crazy because some people can't. I know some people can't do that. But, planning and whatever. The whole fucking paid family leave idea. So you're going to force companies to pay for people to not work while they have kids for up to what? They're saying well, I know in some countries it's up to 50, a lot of weeks, many months. And how do you force a company to pay someone who's not producing anything for you? I've never understood that. Now, we took some unpaid leave, which is, what it is. We took our vacation time and we combined that with just changing our schedules. But I don't understand. Why would you think? Because the government's not paying for this paid family leave bullshit. And then now they're also trying to give free preschool for 3 and 4 year olds, paid for by the government. I don't know. Vaccine mandate from OSHA dropped, as in it just dropped like a new album, or did they drop it? That's my question there, Gamer Fleet. Good morning, by the way. Anyway, let's see here.
More than 7% of your income. They're going to see that, they'll get tax breaks.
Really? You get a tax break if you weren't putting your kids in daycare anyway? How about that, Joe? Anyone? God.
Genuine tax breaks. If that's,
I can't listen to him. I can't listen to Mushmouth right now because he makes me want to sleep. Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of that, it's in the tabs. New Jersey Democrat Phil Murphy projected to win re-election after a fiercely tight race. A fiercely tight race that crawled into Wednesday evening. Democratic Governor Phil Murphy is now projected to win re-election against Republican challenger Jack Ciattarelli. Oh boy. This is 90% reporting. They found here's something that is very, very, very New Jersey-esque. Okay? Very New Jersey-esque. The delay in having the race called likely stemmed from a snafu out of Essex County where a poll worker mistakenly shut off voting machines in 56 districts before the count had finished. A mistake by a quote. This is a quote from the New York Post. Let me go back here. A mistake by a poll worker led machines in 56 voting districts in Essex County, the state's second most populated region, to be turned off before their ballots were tallied, local election officials said. Beyond Essex County, the Passaic County had similar voting issues in 5 districts. Oh, just a coincidence. That highly leaned toward Murphy, which likely delayed the call into Wednesday. And then they tell you the rest why. So congratulations, Phil Murphy, on being reelected. Whatever. This one from the Daily Caller. Top Democrat, also New Jersey. The top Democrat in the New Jersey Senate is close to losing a seat to a Republican truck driver who spent $153 on the race. New Jersey Senate President Steve Sweeney may lose his seat to a conservative truck driver. I think he did lose. This is November 3rd. I think they figured I lost. Edward Durr was leading by over 2,000 votes as of Wednesday morning. The New Jersey Globe reported the defeat of Sweeney, the longest-serving legislative leader in state's history, would cause a major rearrangement of New Jersey politics, according to the Globe. Durr describes himself. I couldn't help it. Sorry. Durr describes himself as a blue-collar with a strong conservative belief. He favors lowering taxes and increasing fiscal responsibility. According to his Facebook page, the conservative challenger said he encountered Sweeney and challenged him to a debate in October. But Sweeney said, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, as they say in New Jersey. Durr has been critical of the Democratic New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy's handling of the Stupid 19, particularly Murphy's decision to force nursing homes to accept Stupid 19 patients, a decision which Durr says resulted in the death of 8,000 seniors in the state. And that is like a good morning fight for your rights, said Lord Stanhope. He also says opponent Sweeney spent 20 years doing little more than increasing taxes and the cost of living for New Jersey residents. Tuesday elections proved to be an upset for many Democrat-controlled seats. In a cycle like this, no Democrat is safe. So anyway, I'm not sure if he won yet. I know they've been saying that he was ahead, and I wonder if they'll find he's up 2,000 votes. I'm sure that they turned off a machine that has, $2,200 for the other guy, but we'll see what happens with that one. Let's go into the in Seattle too. This is, I tell you, it's a blood. Crime-stricken Seattle chooses a Republican. Ann Davison for city attorney over a progressive challenger. Seattle sent a clear message to the loudmouth progressive babies who want to abolish police and jails by electing Republican Ann Davis as the city's city attorney. Davison is the first Republican elected in Seattle since 1989. 1989. What's that Public Enemy song? It's the Fight the Power. I don't know the first line of it though. Anyway. Sounds of the funky drummer. Anyway, she is the first woman to serve as city attorney. Oh my gosh! Since 1989, none of these Democrat city attorneys were women. Fucking sexist. Anyway, the first Republican and the first woman ever, but first Republican since 1989. Listen, but not. I mean, and this is the first Republican elected to any city office since 1989. Not one. This first one since 1989. At one end stood Thomas Kennedy, a former public defender who wants to ultimately abolish misdemeanor prosecutions, like they're doing in San Francisco and California and shit like that. The misdemeanor and whatever. During the unrest that swept the city in the summer of 2020, she tweeted about her rabid hatred of the police and pronounced property destruction during times of protest a moral imperative. That was her. Remember her? Anyway, at the other end was Seattle's attorney and arbitrator Davison, whose perceived transgression for some liberals in Seattle was seen as being bad as anything her opponent said on social media. She declared herself a Republican in 2020 while President Donald Trump was in the White House. Davison ran as a Democrat for the city council in 2019. The department has a $35 million budget with around 200 attorneys in 3 divisions, criminal, civil, and administration. The campaign centered around misdemeanor crimes. Thomas Kennedy said she'd work to reduce and eventually eliminate misdemeanor prosecutions, arguing that they are wasteful and criminalize poverty. Prosecution would remain an option for repeat drunken driving, minor assaults, and violent crimes, but most defendants would be referred to mental health, addiction, and restorative justice programs. On the civil side, Thomas Kennedy has said she would defend progressive tax laws, sue fossil fuel companies, and work to overturn the state's ban on affirmative action. And that's why, what's her full name here? Her name is, what's her name? What the hell is this? What the hell? Her name is, the Ann Davison is the one who won. She's the Republican. Somebody named Thomas Kennedy, as in a hyphenated last name. Well, I don't know what it is, but FTG, Thomas Kennedy. Good. I'm glad you lost. We don't need another Steve Schmidt or the one in Dallas or Chase Boudin or the Kim, what's her dumbass in Chicago. We don't need any more of those people. I'm sorry. They are terrible for your cities. Stop electing these progressive city attorneys and attorneys general. And please, somebody in Minnesota, get a clue on Keith Ellison the next election campaign. Can we please vote that jackass out of that office? Holy shit. Anyway, congratulations to Ann Davidson. Let's see. Oh, and we talked about Van Jones. Well, Van Jones is also flaming the Democrats. Now he makes some sense here. I actually agree with him for once. Here's Van Jones again.
I think that the Democrats are coming across in ways that we don't recognize, that are annoying,
yes,
and offensive,
yes,
and seem out of touch,
yes,
in ways that I don't think show up in our feeds when we're looking at
yeah, because you're always
echo
thinking fans
chamber.
just like the right is. They get in their own vacuum and don't hear any other voices.
I think that the Democrats.
Slim Shady. My name is Slim Shady. All right. Oh, and the socialist mayor candidate that was on the ballot in Buffalo who got beat out by the current mayor who ran as a write-in. She's refusing to concede, even though she was trounced by 20 points or so. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown had declared victory Tuesday night as he easily defeated his socialist opponent, India Walton. Walton defeated the incumbent mayor in the Democratic primary, forcing Brown to mount a rare write-in campaign in order to win his 5th term. Look, Buffalo's mayor, he's very popular. He's a Democrat, very popular Democrat. And no one came out for the primaries thinking that he would win easily. And so this India Walton beat him in the primaries. So he did a write-in candidate for Buffalo. Now he's not super leftist. He's just kind of he's a middle of the road Democrat, if you can believe that. And he landslide victory. Oh, he won by almost 20 points. He won by 18% as a write-in in Buffalo. They said, here, she's not happy. Here's her lack of concession speech.
You everyone for being here.
Sorry, it's only the right channel, guys.
This has been an exciting year for me, for my campaign staff and volunteers and my family.
So does this sound like a concession speech?
We are proud of
that's what we're going to listen for. Does this sound like a concession speech?
The work that has been done. We are here to gather this evening to celebrate the relationships that have been built, the work that has been done, the hope that has been brought to the city of Buffalo. And
you lost by 19 points.
With that, I'll take just a few questions so I can get back to the folks who love and care for me.
India, you're trailing by about 10,000 votes last time I checked from the write-in candidate. How are you feeling? What do you think of that?
You know, I knew that this was going to be an uphill battle since the beginning. I'm proud of our staff, of our team, and every vote needs to be counted. Right
every
now,
vote needs to be counted. 10,000 down.
Whoever that is. So I think that who write-in is remains to be seen.
She knows who the write-in candidate is. It's the current mayor. What do you mean? Who the write-in candidate is? They know who it is. She knows who it is. And that's what the reporter said. It's the current mayor. Jethro Hetero, how you doing?
There was a lot of big money coming in. I think that in June what we saw was a primary election between two Democratic contenders. Buffalo is a Democratic city, and what we have seen is my opponent actively cooperating and colluding with Republicans and dark money to defeat a person who is going to be a champion for the little guy. I'm not ashamed of any of the work that we've done.
Buffalo?
I look forward to continue to work with the citizens of Buffalo, the working class people, those who have gone unseen and unheard for far too long. And I think that...
She's burning up my right ear and I can't listen to her anymore. But anyway, if you want to listen to the rest of that, she doesn't sound like she's conceding. She says, we got to count the votes. We got to count the votes. And then finally, Biden administration finally drafts a vax mandate for private sector companies, according to a report. And so the Biden administration has finally drafted a text of the vaccine and test mandate for private sector companies with more than 100 employees, according to a news report. The ABC News reported Wednesday morning that the Occupational Safety and Health Administration has advanced the rule under a temporary emergency provision. Well, I haven't seen that happen to us at where I work yet. Maybe they just haven't said anything. It would be the first time federal regulators have listed a respiratory virus as an occupational hazard outside of the healthcare industry. The details not yet available, but the rule would reportedly impact around 80 million Americans. So, you know what I don't understand about this? If this is so important, if it's so important, why would we be limiting it to companies of 100 employees or more? Why? And how? I know who was it? There was a new was the United Auto Workers, I think it was Ford. they've come down and said that they are going to require all their employees to be vaccinated. The ones who are unvaccinated are getting 1 month leave, I suppose, to be able to be vaccinated. And then if they don't do it, then they're going to let them go. Can you really afford that right now, Ford, with your lack of production going on and maybe with the supply chain problems, it might help you deal with it. ETS Pamphlet Company. Good God. Anyway, let's see. Eric Adams, he was heckled. I'll leave that one for now. All right, here's one of the things from the trial yesterday, and according to a report, the FBI has lost. Hang on, I got to do this again. The FBI lost HD Rittenhouse video. And never told the defense it existed. Now, this is interesting because the prosecution in this case has known about video from the FBI. They've had it for 5 months, and they didn't, pray tell, they didn't give it up in discovery to the defense until a few days ago, like about a week ago. Unseen footage taken by the FBI from the night of the shootings in Kenosha, Wisconsin, surfaced on Tuesday during day one of the kids' trial, according to Prosobiec. Prosobiec's always questionable. Anyway, according to footage obtained. According to Jack Prosobiec of Human Events, the FBI allegedly had an HD version of the video, but never told Rittenhouse defense it existed. Now, why did they use Jack Prosobiec as a source for that particular piece of information? You certainly would have learned that by watching the trial. The first day of the trial, they mentioned this, and the defense asked for HD. Apparently, there existed an HD version of the tape, the video, right? And the FBI just, oh no, we lost it. Huh. That's yes, the blade magically lost it. Now are you guys, most of you people at least deal with if you have a smartphone or your cameras or whatever, and for example, when I take my phone here and because I take a lot of video using my phone. I stopped using my camera because my phone has some better video functions and effects than my camera does. So I use my phone, and sometimes I move video or images from my phone onto my little 5 terabyte hard drive over here, portable hard drive, right? And when I do that, the pictures and images are removed from my phone. Now, sometimes I need to find those images when I'm not at home and have no access to my little 5 terabyte midget, whatever you call it, hard drive. But I've deleted the pictures from my phone. Huh? How do you do that? Oh, wait a minute. Well, Google backs up all my photographs on the cloud, and I didn't even do that on purpose. It just does. And then also there's a couple different sites. For whatever reason, because I have a Microsoft account, everything backs up in 2 or 3 different places. How, pray tell, if they had an HD version of the video and the prosecution has seen that HD version, how, pray tell, does the FBI who takes video and probably backs it up somewhere, how do they mistakenly delete the footage? I'm just curious. It's craziness. Anyway, here's the. Oh, this is footage. No, we're not gonna see that. Anyway, FBI footage was. Here we go. So, unseen footage taken by the FBI the night of the shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, surfaced on Tuesday during day one of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. According to Jack Prosobiec of Human Events, the FBI allegedly had an HD version of the video, but never told Rittenhouse's defense it existed. That was part of the trial. I don't know why. Again, there's no one at the Daily Caller watching this trial instead of taking Jack Prosobiec's word. Anyway, the footage obtained by Human Events In footage obtained by Human Events, the FBI appears to have taken aerial footage of Rittenhouse and other participants involved in the shooting. Some of the footage, which is black and white and grainy, was shot from an FBI surveillance drone, which is curious. The FBI footage was shown during the jury during the testimony of one of its agents who captured the footage with the drone. The FBI agent Brandon Cramen. However, the FBI allegedly testified in private that they were in possession of another version of the video in HD that they did not supply to members of the defense, according to Human Events. When asked for a copy of the tape, the FBI allegedly denied the defense's request, saying that the video no longer existed, according to a report. How convenient. After prosecutors questioned Cramen about the aerial footage, the defense cross-examined the witness and asked for a tail number of the FBI plane. However, the prosecutor objected. Judge Bruce Schroeder then asked to sidebar the issue and discuss the aerial footage, and the jurors left the court. Anyway, they lost it. It just does. It no longer exists. How does that happen? It's amazing. Anyway, I've got a couple more articles about the trial if you want to check those out. According to a witness, man Rittenhouse fatally shot, acted erratic, hurled N-words, shouted, "Shoot me," near the gas station. Social media influencer Corey Washington testified during the Rittenhouse trial on Wednesday, confirming that he had seen videos of Joseph Rosenbaum, a man fatally shot by Rittenhouse, hurling the N-word and yelling, "Shoot me," near the Kenosha gas station on the night of August 25th, 2020. There is videotape of this, too, if just in case you're wondering. Washington also told the jury he made a mental note of Rosenbaum due to his erratic behavior. The defense team showed Washington video footage, some taken by Mr. Washington himself, from the night Rittenhouse fatally shot two rioters. The witness acknowledged that demonstrators had set fires and some were upset others in the area who were upset others in the area were putting out those fires. Rosenbaum may have been one of the men shouting that he was upset about the fires being put out. And then he made a note of Rittenhouse in his mind too. He said over the teen chain smoking with gloves on, finding him nervous. Rittenhouse stood out because he seemed young, Washington said, and didn't know what was going on. He seemed nervous to the situation. So there's more of this story as you find it in the tab. The last two are also Rittenhouse stories, but I don't have time to get to it. But one of the prosecutors pretends that Antifa doesn't use skateboards as weapons. And if you're familiar with some of the shit going on in Portland, they beg to differ. In fact, skateboards are pretty damn good weapons if you want to hurt somebody by hitting somebody with something. Probably as good or better than baseball bats. Well, not maybe. They're a little harder to hold, but if you're really good with one, you certainly can hurt somebody. And then Legal Insurrection has a great summary of the first day of the trial. Interesting, though, that they start out saying defense dominates opening statements and first witness testimony. I wouldn't say they dominated the opening statement. I thought the prosecution had a much more fluid and narrative style opening statement. The defense had a lot of facts in their opening statements using video, but it was very disjointed and probably put the jury to sleep. But I think both teams did a decent job. I thought the prosecution had a better opening argument, even though it was bullshit. But from a jury standpoint, if you don't know anything about anything, it flowed better. But the first witness, which was Kyle's friend Dominic Black, who's pictured here, I thought the cross-examination was better than the initial questioning. But on that note, I got to call it a day because I am out of time. So I'll leave these articles in the tab in this description down below. First or second paragraph. There's a very short paragraph there where all these articles will be listed in a single link where you can click through them if you want, including the editorial things that I didn't get to. But that's that. I got to go. So thanks, everybody, for being here today. I will be here tomorrow, Friday. If I do a show this afternoon, like I was planning, then tomorrow will be my 700th episode. Otherwise, that'll be on Monday. But I am also going to visit my son this weekend, so who knows? I've got to do some laundry, so at least for what I'm going to be wearing while I'm out in Denver. I have to go check the weather too. I don't even know what it's like out there right now. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And, don't forget to change your clocks this weekend. That's this weekend, right? Yeah, it's this weekend. Change your clocks this weekend, Saturday night. Another Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. I got some money, but I just got paid. Anyway, anything else? Thank you for hit the like button before you go. Share the stream before and after. Put a comment in the comment section if you are watching the replay so I can say hi back. And thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show today, and all of you who sponsor the show on all the other days. Thank you very much. If you want to sponsor the show, Streamlabs, YouTube Super Chats, and a couple other options in the description down below. That is all for today, people. I must leave. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.